edition of the Beaver News. I'm Spencer Smallwood.
And I'm Andie Judson. Oregon State University's Dairy Club hosted their grilled cheese sandwich fundraiser in the MU Quad today. The fundraiser took place between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. and was a huge success. Numerous OSU students and faculty contributed to the Dairy Club by purchasing a grilled cheese sandwich and/or a carton of milk, each for only $1. The Grilled Cheese Day in the Quad helps the club promote dairy products throughout the Oregon State campus and Corvallis community. In addition, the money accumulated from the fundraiser goes towards the Dairy Club's activities throughout the year, which includes the Beaver Classic Dairy Sale, which is a live sale featuring purebred and dairy cattle from local and distant dairy producers. Briar Jeg, a member of OSU's Dairy Club, stated that, "As a club, we try to help our members become involved in and more knowledgeable of the dairy industry, not only in Oregon, but throughout the country." The Dairy Club is open to any and all students at OSU along with the community members.
Oregon Governor John Kitzhaber will be delivering the annual Tom McCall Memorial Lecture this evening in LaSalle Stewart Center. According to the press release, Kitzhaber has titled his speech Challenge to Change and will focus on how to stimulate Oregon's economy through the focus on stability. The Daily Barometer reports that Kitzhaber is emphasizing that what he calls the Oregon example, in which emphasis is placed on green jobs and clean energy, according to the press release. The lecture is in honor of former Governor Tom McCall, who served from 1967 to 1975 and is put on by the College of Liberal Arts. The lecture will be at 7 p.m. and is free and open to the public.
The Oregon State Engineers Without Borders student chapter is looking to raise money for 3 students and 1 advisor's assessment trip to Layla, Kenya. According to Brittany Galienda of the Daily Barometer, Engineers Without Borders is a student group here on campus that seeks to form relationships with developing communities around the world to help improve their quality of life through sustainable engineering projects. EWB OSU President and engineering sophomore James Teeters said, "The communities will contact our head organization, Engineers Without Borders USA, and EWB USA will compile all this help. Then a chapter organization, chapter being either a university or a professional chapter from a major city, they will apply to partner with the community." The group has now partnered with a small town in Kenya called Layla to improve the standard of living there.
Ray McGinnis's knowledge of sports wins him the title of the Dixon Sports Trivia Contest. For the second year in a row, McGinnis is the official intramural sports trivia winner. Brittany Galiendo of the Daily Barometer reports that having an immense amount of sports information finally paid off for the 2-time champion. McGinnis said, quote, "I watch sports all the time, and I kind of just soak it in. I have a really good memory when it comes to numbers and weird little things like that." End quote. The event was a Jeopardy-style trivia game where the 10 participants gathered in Dixon and competed by answering questions about a wide range of sports such as basketball, football, soccer, and even marathon running. Out of all the sports information McGinnis knows, he admits that he has the most knowledge about the NBA and basketball in general. He has been at numerous OSU athletic events since he was a freshman, which he says gives him an edge. McGinnis said, quote, "It's nice to be good at something. Everybody has their thing, and I have sports trivia."
We now go to Courtney Cossette with a report on Beaver baseball over the weekend. Over to you.
The stands were filled as fans cheered to watch the Beavers baseball team in their final game of the regular season at Goss. Ryan Dunn came up to bat against USC pitcher Logan Odom. Dunn hits up the middle to bring in a run for the Beavs in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Dunn went 2-4 hitting on the day. USC pitcher Logan Odom strikes out an OSU batter. Odom pitched 6 2/3 innings for the Trojans and allowed 5 hits and 2 runs for the day. The Trojan batter makes contact with the ball from pitcher Josh Osich, but can't get it past second baseman Tyler Smith as he throws it to first to gain their last out and end the inning. Ryan Dunn gets his second hit and RBI of the day off a hit down the middle. The Beavers defense steps it up and gets their first double play of the game, thanks to a nice play by Smith, Dunn, and first baseman Jared Norris. Ryan Barnes has a great hit up left field, bringing home Brian Stamps for the Beavers' second run of the day. Stamps gets his one hit of the game on a nice shot down the left field line, earning him a stand-up double. There was an unexpected visitor in the 6th inning that refused to leave without a fight. This chicken, who had a VIP seat of the game in the outfield, brought some humor to the crowd. The Trojans would ice the game in the top of the 9th with a hit off pitcher Tony Bryant, scoring a run to make the score 4-2. OSU would be charged in error on this wild throw to first base. The Beavs would rally in the bottom of the 9th with 2 leadoff walks by Brian Stamps and Kevin Keyes. But the offense came too late for OSU, and Andrew Susak would ground out to the USC shortstop to end the game. The final score was USC 4, OSU 3. This was the Beavers' first weekend series loss on the year. OSU still holds a 1-game lead in Pac-10 play over ASU. Despite the loss, the players signed autographs for the fans of Beaver Nation after the game.
This is Courtney Cosette from Goss Stadium. Back to you guys in the studio.
We are going to take a short break. When we come back, a former presidential candidate faces criminal charges, and Harold Camping schedules another rapture, so stay tuned.
Real men know that getting tested is the way to take care of their families. That's why real men wear gowns. For a list of the tests you need, go to ahrq.gov.
Do you like this top? It's so gay.
Really?
Yeah, it's totally gay.
You know, you really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, "Oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top"?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
So, without any further ado, let the match begin! What's up?
Oh, yes!
Play with that. Get out of here. You too, Ficus.
Late nights. You're gonna want something to protect yourself.
There you go. Stay sexy, Corvallis Camera 3. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Beaver News right here on Channel 26. Harold Camping predicted that the world was going to end May 20th at 6 p.m. But as you can clearly tell, it didn't happen. In his first radio broadcast since his doomsday prediction failed to pan out in a spectacularly public fashion, the California preacher insisted it was an error of interpretation, not fact. He has another calculation for the day of the world to end, which is October 21st, 2011. This will be his third prediction, one in 1994 that failed, and the most recent one, May 20th, that failed as well. Camping and his devout followers warned that a small percent of the population would be taken to heaven. Those left behind would face months of tribulation before perishing in the Earth's destruction, which Camping said would happen on October 21st. This is the new basis for now in which his new prediction, which Camping claims is not new at all. Camping said, quote, "We're not going to put up any more billboards. We're not going to be advertising in any way. The world has been warned. We did our little share, and the media picked it up. But now the world has been told it's under judgment."
The United States Justice Department has authorized prosecutors to bring criminal charges against former presidential candidate and Senator John Edwards, according to CNN. A source close to the Edwards family told CNN that the government wants Edwards to plead guilty to a felony, but he does not want to do that because he would lose his law license and he dreads going to prison. Since 2009, a federal grand jury in North Carolina has been investigating payments made to Rielle Hunter, Edwards' mistress, who worked as a videographer for his campaign. The grand jury has been investigating whether the payment should be considered unreported campaign donations. Lawyers for Edwards have argued that they should not be. Former Edwards staffer Andrew Young wrote about Rachel Mellon giving Edwards $700,000, but didn't know that he would be using it to cover a scandal. The source with knowledge of the investigation said Wednesday that a resolution is expected soon. However, an indictment could be averted if prosecutors and lawyers for Edwards reach a plea deal.
Overcrowding of prisons led to the idea of letting out 33,000 inmates, but California officials said Tuesday that inmates will stay. Instead, they will submit plans to the federal courts in 2 weeks specifying ways to remedy prison overcrowding under the U.S. Supreme Court order this week. The state's plan to reduce prison overcrowding is still being prepared for a special federal 3-judge panel. California's 33 adult prisons now hold well over 140,000 inmates. Terry Thornton of the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation said, quote, "We particularly need the support and cooperation of the legislature with the immediate funding and implementation of AB 109, end quote. The so-called AB 109 law that Governor Jerry Brown signed in April will transfer low-level offenders to state prisons to county jails.
NASA reported that they will be reaching out to contact the Mars rover Spirit a final time today after a series of unanswered attempts. NASA speculates that an extreme Martian winter may have frozen the rover's communication apparatus or weakened its energy level, hindering its ability to communicate. CNN reports that in a press release Tuesday, NASA said, "What we have here is a failure to communicate." Dave Lavery, NASA's program executive for a solar system exploration, said in the release that, quote, we no longer believe that there is a realistic probability of hearing from Spirit, end quote. Created for a 3-month mission, Spirit landed on Mars in January 2004 and exceeded its intended lifespan by several years, giving scientists an in-depth look at the surface conditions of the red planet. The rover has managed over 7 years to faithfully report back in face of Martian obstacles until this time. NASA said that the last transmission received by the rover was March 22, 2010. We're going to take another short break. When we come back, a blind man sues the American Bar Association and your weather forecast for the week, so please stay tuned.
Open a book, you can explore new lands, make new friends, and discover new adventures. There are amazing possibilities when you open your mind to reading. Explore new worlds. Read.
Let's go! Hurry!
Dude, why is your mom driving us to MetalCon?
Remember when I bought us all snowboards on that credit card and never paid it back? Well, I guess they check that stuff out when you apply for a car loan.
Afterwards, we'll all go out for ice cream.
Don't let your credit put you in a bad place. Go to controlyourcredit.gov.
Welcome back to the Beaver News. The tornado that devastated Joplin, Missouri, killing at least 117 people, may have caused up to $3 billion in insured losses, according to the estimate from a catastrophic risk modeling firm released Tuesday. The tornado that hit the city of about 50,000 people on Sunday caused from $1 billion to $3 billion worth of damage to the insured buildings, including homes, businesses, and factories, and automobiles, according to Jose Miranda, Director of Client Advocacy. The Joplin tornado is the single deadliest tornado in U.S. history, in what has been particularly a catastrophic year. So far this year, tornadoes have killed 482 people in the United States. This year was relatively calm as far as natural disasters are concerned, until about April, when a series of 3 severe storms ripped through the southern states, causing up to $5 billion worth of damage. The most serious storm featured 178 tornadoes that killed at least 300 people, many of them in Alabama.
According to CNN, teams of rescuers were out earlier today in Canadian County, Oklahoma, searching land and water for a 3-year-old who went missing in ferocious weather Tuesday. The toddler Ryan Hamill was with his mother and his sibling in their home when the storm hit. Pam Kapaner, the boy's great-aunt, stated that Cole, the 15-month-old, did not survive. Kathleen, 5, is in the hospital in stable condition, and that their pregnant mother, Catherine, has a lot of broken bones, bruises, and cuts. However, she is in stable condition, and they did get a heartbeat of the baby yesterday, which means the baby is stable too. The children's father, Hank, was out of town Tuesday, but has returned and is now searching for Ryan.
A blind Michigan man rejected by 3 law schools after scoring poorly on the law school administration test is suing the American Bar Association, arguing that the group's exam requirements discriminate against the visually impaired. In a suit filed Tuesday in the U.S. District Court of Eastern District of Michigan, Angelo Bino alleges the Chicago-based ABA prevents law schools from waiving the admissions test, known as the LSAT, for blind applicants. The suit alleges the visually impaired students face considerable difficulties with visually oriented parts of the exam. Philip Rosenbaum of CNN reports that the association's rules require students to take a valid and reliable test. Bino's lawsuit counters that the LSAT is the only widely used commercially available exam for assessing law school applicants, leaving, in fact, no alternative. Bino stated that, "I want to help the disabled and disadvantaged people who otherwise would struggle to have their voices be heard."
We now hand it over to Mackenzie Allen for your weather forecast for this week. Over to you.
Good evening, Corvallis, and welcome to your weather update. I'm Mackenzie Allen. Unfortunately, this trend of rainy weather seems like it's going to continue a little bit longer. On Thursday, expect a high of 59 and a low of 51. And then on Friday, some more showers with a high of 60 and a low of 46. Saturday, still some more rain with a high of 58 and a low of 43. And then on to Sunday with a high of 62 and a low of 48. And then wrapping it up with some more rain on Monday with a high of 63 and a low of 45. So unfortunately some rain, but hopefully that gives you all a good chance to finish your finals projects and study for final exams. I'm Mackenzie Allen, back to you.
We're going to take one last short break. When we return, a volcanic ash cloud floats over British Airways and a look at the damaged Japanese reactors. So please stay tuned.
What do you got, little fella? What do you got there? Looks like someone's butt. They must have lost it playing with their kids.
So, are you going out tonight?
I can't. My parents say I have to be home right after work.
That's so gay.
Totally gay.
Ugh, that is so Emma and Julia.
Why are you saying that's so Emma and Julia?
Well, you know, when something is dumb or stupid, you say that's so Emma and Julia.
Who says that?
Everyone.
Imagine if who you are were used as an insult. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
So you can't save money? That's easy as pie. Drink from the tap. A $3 bottle of water a day times 10 years times 6% interest is over 14,000 clams. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feedthepig.org.
G-Morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. You up? What'd you dream about? Me? JK. Text me back. I'll keep texting till you wake up. Are your parents home later? Is this something I did? Exclamation point, we're in a huge fight right This isn't a joke. Hello? Text me.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel like a fish with no water.
Learn how to prevent your child's next asthma attack. Because even one attack is one too many.
Welcome back to the Wednesday night edition of the Beaver News. A NATO helicopter crashed in western Afghanistan Tuesday morning, officials said. Crew members were not hurt, and the crash site has been secured by the International Security Assistance Force. The force did not offer details on the exact location of the crash site and said that the cause of the crash was not immediately known. On April 23rd, a coalition helicopter crew member died and another was injured in a helicopter crash in eastern Afghanistan.
The peak of a cloud of volcanic ash that forced the cancellation of hundreds of flights has passed, Iceland's Prime Minister said Wednesday. Prime Minister Johanna Sigurðardóttir said the worst is over and now the cleanup can begin. Our geoscientists say that the eruption is waning day by day and that the problems arising in our neighborhood countries as a result of volcanic ash should be resolved quickly. According to the Icelandic Meteorological Office, the eruption of the Grímsvötn volcano paused at 2:40 a.m. this morning, meaning it was not erupting at the moment. The agency warned, however, that it could begin again and that only after 3 months with no eruptions will the volcano be considered dormant. The closing of airports due to volcanic cloud affected at least 600 flights. CNN reports that meanwhile some German airports were reopened today after the cancellations due to the cloud of volcanic ash.
2 of the damaged reactors at the crippled Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant in Japan may have been riddled with holes, according to the facility's owner. Tokyo's electric power company said in a report that the holes may be as big as 7 to 10 centimeters. They may also have included a contaminant vessel of reactor number 1 that may have been developed a hole that was as big as 3 centimeters in diameter 18 hours after the quake, and 50 hours after the quake, the hole may have widened to 7 centimeters. CNN reports that the nuclear experts and scientists have long suspected this sort of damage to the containers of the reactors and crippled plant, as well as a full meltdown of fuel rods in reactors 1, 2, and 3.
A suicide bomber in an explosive-laden car rammed into a police station in Peshawar, Pakistan, earlier today in a Taliban attack that killed 7 police officers and injured several others. CNN reports that the Pakistani Taliban said that the attack was to avenge the killing of innocent people. The group's spokesman, Ihsan Ullah, told CNN Pakistani security forces are carrying out those killings on the instruction of the United States in the name of war on terror. A police official stated that 23 other people were injured in the blast and that several people were still under the debris. About 661 pounds of explosive material was used in the mini-truck. Fiaz Toro, another senior police official, told CNN the building was being used as a directorate of counterterrorism to interrogate militants. No militants were being questioned or in the building at the time of the blast.
American British leadership of the world remains essential to the cause of human dignity, President Barack Obama said. He made a sweeping case for the values, including freedom and the free market, in a speech to a joint session of the British Parliament. Obama said, quote, "We must act and lead with confidence in our ideals and an abiding faith in the character of our people. Even," end quote, "even while adding they will," quote, "proceed with humility and with the knowledge that we cannot dictate outcomes abroad," end quote. He argued that the longing for the freedom and human dignity is, quote, "universal and it beats every heart," end quote. He linked this year's uprisings against regimes across the Middle East to the fall of communism in Europe, of white minority rule in South Africa, and of dictatorships in Latin America and Southeast Asia, saying they reflected a longing for the same freedoms that we take for granted at home. Well, folks, that completes our newscast for the evening. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 7 p.m. for another live broadcast of the Beaver News. Have fun, be good, make good choices. Good night, Corvallis.